Okay. Well, three ladies had lived a full life compared to most people, saying, and they had their husbands, and as time went on, they all entered their well over 100 years old, and they
Click it again.
there they are. Anyway, they were three sisters, and they all entered over 100 years old. Their sibling, thank you, spouses had made their transition. They had left, and so they all decided to live together. So they're all living together in this one house, and the youngest one was noticing some changes. So, in fact, to demonstrate this, one day the oldest one was getting in the tub, and as she was touching her toe in the tub, she stopped and said out loud, I can't remember if I was getting in or getting out. The youngest one heard that, and then she heard her, the middle sister, she was going up the stairs, and she stopped and said, I can't remember if I was going up or coming down. So the youngest one said, well, I sure hope I never get as bad as you all are, knock on wood. I'll come help each of you after I go answer the front door.
That's when you need a cymbal. Ka-ching.
Ka-ching. A drum, yeah. All right. Well, today's lesson is titled "It Is Time," and time. This is actually in Fillmore's Revealing Word, and it says a definition for time. It says, "Time is the measure that man gives to passing events. The only power in time is what man imparts on it, or to it. When man gets into the understanding of the absolute, he takes his freedom from all bondage of time, and declares that time shall no more enter into the substance of his mind or body or affairs." I know that's a lot to absorb, so maybe we should stay on this for a little bit.
Yes.
But if you read it and understand it, you can also, if you think about it, it's the same with money. You know, I think I've told this story before, but one of my graduate professors was a really cool guy. Anyway, he said, well, he held up a $20 bill and he said, how much is this worth? And everybody said, $20. It's worth $20. And he said, no, you're all wrong. And so we were kind of looking at him quizzically. And he said, what do you mean? And he said, this $20 bill is what everybody says it's worth. We've all agreed that the $20 bill is worth $20, right? But actually, it's just a piece of paper printed, right? And as we all know, during our life, there have been countries that have had money totally devalued to nothing, haven't they? So if a country can devalue money to nothing, we'd all take that seriously, because if we had some, we'd take it seriously. We had $100 billion, and now it's worth nothing, right? Mm-hmm. What about time? It's a little bit further of a stretch for the human brain, but really it isn't. It shouldn't be. Time is what we make of it. And Reverend Francie, through her, I think through my personal observation, through her experience in unity and through her seminary training and everything, has understood, she says it a lot, is why I'm using her as an example, is that time is expansive. That even though we may think that we do have too many things to do in a day, if we just calm ourselves down, if we take the time to calm ourselves down and realize that time is expansive and we can do anything, then it's amazing how things that we thought were going to take a long time don't take that long, and things that we thought that we couldn't get done, we get done. But if we go around hurried and in a panic about getting everything done, then we're not enjoying it for sure, are we? And we're probably not going to get it all done either. God's timing, though, may be different than our timing. We may think about our promotion at work, that we're not getting it soon enough, or we may think about our business success, whether it's not growing like we like. We may think of the church not growing like we think it should. We may think of a relationship, or even our health is not as good as it should be. Well, God, I pray to you every day, and still I'm sick. Right? Sometimes we think about that. I mean, as humans, sometimes we think about that. But what is it in us that we're doing that's different if we're not getting the results we want? Usually nothing. Usually we're not doing anything different, and we're expecting different results. That doesn't work, folks. It doesn't work at all. It never has. God's timing is wanting us to do something to get the results we want, if we're not getting them now. We have to do something. There's some action on our part that has to be taken. Last week we had and we really enjoy all the people that go to that prayer service for the new property afterwards. Enjoy that. And last week we had an action statement come out, and it's something that will push us over the top as far as getting out of the property. We have to be willing to change what we're doing in order to have different results if we want different results. If we're not getting the results we want. Standing strong in faith with gratitude for what is in this present moment is a major deal about that. You cannot move forward if we're just complaining. You know, there's another word for that. Complaining about everything that we have. And it's just not going right. Gosh, I'm not healthy. This darn hip or whatever it is, right? Well, if we're cursing it all the time, then how do we expect it to heal? Do you follow me?
Yep.
We can't be doing two different things and expect a different result. Faith and gratitude, which is this month's idea, is what we are focusing on. Understanding that we have to be grateful for what we have now. Girls, I'm going to get on to you for this, ladies. Most of you have had a husband or a significant other. And at first, maybe you thought that person could have been on the cover of GQ.
No.
And even now, you may think, no, thanks, Nancy. And even now, you may look at other men and think, oh man, I'll tell you what, I'd like to have, him. He looks like he could be on GQ. While you're thinking about your husband or your significant other, as if they came out of DQ. GQ, DQ. Okay, I didn't say that very good. Anyway, look, this DQ guy doesn't look bad at all, does he? Looks pretty good in shape.
Ice cream looks better. Becky said that.
Becky did?
Yeah, Becky did.
Well, it all depends on where you're at in life, Becky. But humankind has never lived in a time where there are so many things that we can be grateful for. Really, we haven't. And that continues to happen as generations come about. Just think of all the things that have happened in our life. All the wonderful things. I heard of somebody the other day saying something about giving a chronological deal of someone who has lived and how everything has changed. If someone, it's like the show, and I told you that before about Awakenings. It's called Awakenings. It's about a person that had Parkinson's that went into a coma before they found out how well L-Dopa can help bring them out of a coma. But anyway, he was in a coma for, I think, 20 or 30 years, something like that. But anyway, he wasn't dead. He was just comatose. He was still alive. He didn't need life support. He was just comatose. But anyway, he needed life support as far as food. But he came out of that coma. They found out about L-Dopa. He came out of that coma, and the world was so different to him. When he was a child, there weren't airplanes. I mean, there were the Wright brothers and things, but that was something, in the news. It really wasn't anything around him. And so one of the things he did is go to the airport, just be amazed by planes taking off and landing. But think about how many things would have changed if we would have missed 10 years, 10, 20 years. I mean, we all take for granted right now the computer age, as far as the internet and everything. Well, it's funny because during my business, when I had my business, I had to update. I had a computer system. We had to integrate all that in our business, and it was amazing how many different things came out and how fast they came out. In fact, there's something that I know nobody in here ever remembers. It's called a zip drive. Yes. Some people remember the zip drive. Really, those big cartridges. Yeah. That was after the floppy and after the 3.5-inch drive, because it could hold 250 megabyte, which isn't nothing anymore. It could hold a lot more, but the zip drive didn't last very long. But it cost us a lot of money to get that, install that, and keep going, so we had to switch and switch and switch. But so if we want to, even in business, if you think about that, for us to stay up with the times, for us to stay competitive, we had to change, didn't we? We have to change how our outlook is, to be grateful for what we have, to expect something better. And it keeps getting better, a better life all the time. And I wanted to just put this up there because Reverend Phil Pearson, which was a great guy, he didn't like me, but that's all right. He's a great
He's still
community
alive.
leader. He's still alive, yes. He didn't like his. Here's the reason he didn't like me. Dorothy Pearson, which you've probably read some of her stuff. She's very prominent in Unity, and she was very well liked by everybody. Well, she really liked me.
Oh, she loved me.
And Phil did not like that. So, anyway, Phil was a great guy, but he used to always say, the best is yet to be. And the best is yet to be, if we consider that. And we look at life that way, right? The best is yet to be. Energy can be used in a myriad of ways. Don't waste time thinking about negative thoughts. Because what is that doing? That's giving away our energy, isn't it? And we can choose whether that goes to a negative thing or a positive thing. Even if it's to the point where we don't see an answer. But we can say this: God, I turn it over to you. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I'm going to let the universe settle this, and I'm going to wait for the outcome and see what it is. How many people in here invented the internet? Nobody invented it in here, did we? But how many people use it? Yeah. Everybody. Almost everybody. We don't have to, it's kind of like in business, one thing that a lot of smart people do is follow McDonald's. McDonald's has spent a lot of money on how to get customers inside their doors. So a lot of businesses you will see are, they're the colors red and yellow. I wonder why. It's because McDonald's has shown that that works for a lot of people. That's a catchy color for them to come in. A lot of things like that. You don't have to reinvent the wheel to benefit from life's greatness. Use that energy to become constructive and thankful. We have, even though we were not able to have the bonfire due to weather, we still have a wonderful piece of property. In fact, I wanted to start this, and I apologize, Reverend Francie, I haven't told you this. I wanted to restart this. We kind of discussed it before last week's prayer service. Is I want to restart that sign-up sheet for people going by the property and praying, because that was very helpful. And and this is what happens in our life too. Sometimes we're not seeing the results, so we kind of lose faith. We kind of quit doing what was helpful. We can never ever lose faith. If we lose faith, we might as well call it quits. Really, if we lose faith, if we don't look forward to the day. If we don't wake up and say, thank you, God, for this day, I'm ready, alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic for it, then what's the point of the day? I did want to bring up the prodigal son. Most people know this story. If you don't, one of the boys of the father, of a wealthy father, decided he wanted his inheritance now, and he wanted to go out and do what he wanted to do. Party, essentially. In today's terms. So he took all his inheritance, went out and partied, and went to different lands and had a great old time, had a lot of friends that weren't friends, they're just there for his money, and ended up spending all his money, back then, working at a hog farm, which was against the Jewish religion, so there's a lot of meanings in this. But anyway, ended up at a hog farm, and all he could do is eat the slop that they were giving the hogs. That was what he was sustaining himself on. Well, one day he decided, even working for my father, I can get better food than this. So I don't know that he'll take me back, but I'm going to go back and see if he will. Well, when he came back, the father heard that he was coming back from over the hill and had some of his servants go kill the fatted calf, and they ended up having this big, huge party for the son that had came home. And everybody remembers that story and all that part of it. And a lot of people forget, and it depends on how you were raised and what your family dynamics were, but a lot of people forget about the older brother, about him getting mad about it, saying, I've been here with you, been a servant, loyal to you throughout the years, and then you don't throw me a super big party like you just threw him. But he had it all the time. Do you see how, there's so many points to that story that we forget this one though. That the older son can choose to be grateful for what he has all the time and look at it that way, or he can look at somebody else, whether it's his brother or not, that has more and say, oh, that's not fair. Life's not fair. I have a terrible life. Right? You can look at it different ways. But the older son, the older brother of the prodigal prodigal son was one that we should take a lesson from also. That we can be grateful for what we have. And what would have happened if, and he did, but what would have happened if the older brother would have helped his father and grown the business? They would have had more, right? And I guarantee you by the time the son, the younger son came back, the older son's inheritance was going to be more already than the younger son had already taken. So he was benefiting all along. And we can't just blow that off, that what we are receiving, what we already have. We have to have a grateful heart. A grateful heart for what we have and how we are blessed. Most of us, if not all of us, should be, are grateful to have good food anytime we want it. We're going to have good food here in a little bit. I mean, some people don't like hot dogs, but I think we probably have plenty of other stuff if you don't like hot dogs. Are we grateful for it, though? You know, it's become a little bit of a, and you still see it every once in a while, but it's become a little bit of a negative thing to be out in public and pray before your meal. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It doesn't have to be say, hey everybody, look at me, stop, I'm going to pray for my meal. It doesn't have to be that. But if we take time, it doesn't even have to be verbal. If we take time, though, to just be grateful for what's in front of us, it can change a lot. We are blessed to have good health. No matter what health you are in right now, we are blessed to have that health. If this part, I think everybody should get that's in unity because of how we were founded, with one of the founders being the person that changed her life around due to health. If you are having a health situation that's not 100%, we can help you. But it's ultimately up to you. But other people can help you in healthy ways. Who was saying? Picola was saying about how she isn't sure how it worked. I can tell you how it worked. The person was open enough to receive blessings from others and that spirit within them said, this is something cool. Something inside of me is alive and I'm going to let it spread. Same thing that Myrtle Fillmore did. Each and every cell in me is a gift from God. I have to be grateful for each and every one of them. And if I am, I can make them re-energize and come to their 100% full potential. Are we grateful for the health we have now?
Yes.
I tell you what, I'm probably, I don't know if I am or not, but probably, I know I feel like it, better off now than I was a couple of years ago because the boys have got me running around all over the place. Right? And exercise, one exercise or not, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Yes.
We are blessed to have abundance in all things. And this sometimes we look at differently. We look at how much money's in our bank and how many bills we have to pay, and sometimes they don't jive. And we say, whoa, how are we going to do this? Well, if it's not where you want it to be, what has to happen? We have to pray about it and do something different, don't we? Right? And, you know, my personal situation, you all know that, what it is. And so, you know, I wasn't where I wanted to be, so what did I have to do? I prayed about it, and I thought, how can I be of service in another way? And I got the answer, and that's what I did. Okay? Which is a different world there, let me tell you. And you know what? It's a good world. You'd be surprised how many people just a kind word, a gentle touch, even though I'm not supposed to do that, I do it. A gentle touch will change somebody. Now, they do have to come down off of what they're on usually when they come in. I do have to give that caveat. But are we grateful for all our abundance in life? I hope so. Are we grateful?
Yes.
Being grateful for life and its beauty is a faith faith thing, like I said a minute ago. It's walking in faith. You know, I'm sure everybody in here has had an experience when they have walked out, not in blind faith, but walked out in faith, not knowing what the next step will entail, but still taking that step. I hope all of us have done that. But this is even something easier in a way. If we understand, if we can be grateful for where we're at right now, the next step really isn't as hard. But if we're tentative, saying, well, you know what, those bills and things, and I haven't got it, I don't know if I should go forward with this, prevents us from receiving that next blessing. God's timing may be different than ours. And back on God's timing, what I was going to add to that was that the relationship that you want, that you're thinking you wanted, maybe God is not having it happen because Spirit isn't having it happen because it's not in your best interest. Maybe that promotion that you wanted at work is not the best thing for you right now. Maybe it's holding up for something, a bigger promotion. If we stay grateful in where we're at right now, things will happen. We claim to be faith-filled, but do we take that step? Do we take that step? That's a leap. That's a good picture, Francis. That's a leap. And sometimes that's what it takes, isn't it? Being faithfully grateful is walking the talk, or demonstrating, what we use demonstration in unity, of faith. Doing what we talk about, doing what we are learning here at Unity is something that Unity has never been a religion. That's why Unity is its own. When everybody asks me what religion is it, which it is, I say Unity because it is different. It's Christian-based, but it is unity. And the difference is, one of the main differences is, it's not a religion in saying that you come to me and you will be absolved of any sin that you have. It's not one of those religions as far as Christianity. It's a religion that's unique in itself, saying, you come to me and we'll learn together what's best for you to receive God's blessings in your life. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how's that going to happen? Mostly your part. Sorry. Although there are things that we learn through seminary that can help you along the way if you need that. And we're more than happy to do that. Because I still like to do it, but I don't do it that often. But there were, at the start of Unity, for many, many years, we would write prescriptions for people that would come to us. And they were spiritual prescriptions. Like they would come to us and say, I'm having this situation in my life, I'd like to change this. And we would be an observer from the outside with training, be able to figure out, okay, well, let's try this. Now, does that always work? No. Most of the time it does. But if it doesn't, come back. What do you do when you have a doctor that gives you a prescription that doesn't work? You go back to the doctor, don't you? The omnipresence of God, which we talk about in Unity, is watching out for us and blessing us when we are faithfully grateful. This is talking about that promotion that you haven't received, that you think you deserve. And you do deserve it. God isn't saying you don't deserve it. God's saying that I have something better for you. Be patient, please. All those things. And this is how I'm going to end my services from now on, since I need to be clearer on that. I offer this blessing to you today. If you receive it, say amen.
Amen.
Whoa, that's a good way to end it. I like it. I got this song today, if you get ready, Francie, that is something that is, some of the songs I pick are